It's Dumb Guy Live.
Yes,
you guys
sir.
also hear it still playing?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
Okay, that was so weird. When I what the fuck? Oh, that's what's happened. All right, I can tell everybody what happened. I had the YouTube link open, and so I'm like hearing everything twice as I play it. I'm like, what's going on here? What the heck?
Bit of
this
ring
is
rust.
crazy. Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit rusty. Dumb Guy Live, everyone.
Let's
That's
fucking
right.
go.
That's right. Dumb Guy Live Sunday pre-midnight. We do it for Jamie San and live chicken and kind of cook.
Chicken and kind of coke.
That was really good. That was a really accurate accent, Murph. That's right.
I'm better at the
Return of
Jamie.
Dumb Guy Live.
I'm better at the Jamie Carragher than the chicken and kind of coke. I'm not good at that.
I don't get this reference.
Oh, you guys don't have Greg's Bakery? Yeah.
Yeah,
Greg's
no,
Bakery's
what's
everywhere.
Greg's Bakery?
in the UK.
What is it? It's just
Just
like
like-
is it just a bakery?
Yeah, they just do like the sausage roll is the famous Greg's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
We're dumb, we're guy, and we're live.
That is
Yes.
true.
What's up? Yeah, Murph, are you gonna announce that you had torn rotator cuff or something?
Well, you see, it would be remiss for Punk to do the announcement, but I'm actually going to call my friend Dax Harwood to do my announcement for me. Dumb Guy Live's back. You know, it's hard because it's on Sunday, so I have less time spent with my daughter. But, you know, I'm excited for Saturdays because, you know, I can verbally accost, you know, certain people, and it's a lot of fun, yeah.
That was pretty bad. We'll go ahead and we'll move on there. That's right. We got Overlord Dan here. Overlord Dan here. We got Liam. This is even better than when my wife took me back. I love that for you. I love that. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's right. We are on time. Ebu, you silly man.
When are we not on time? Have we
We're
ever
always
been
on
not
time.
on time?
Yeah, that's right.
We're like, we're
Isaiah
them.
Thomas graphic. I got my joy back. Classic. That Scarecrow's not a fan of the accent. It's yeah, I don't know. I'm Dax Harwood, and I care about my daughter, and being sort of dog whistle-ish racist, and that's kind of my vibe. So yeah, no, we're glad to be back, everybody. We're glad that you're here too.
I'm actually here. Like, it's not just a recording. I'm here.
My daughter is a religious DGL fan. She said that Jamie is her fave, and she loves TJPW. Wow.
Well, you need to send her. You need to do some help. You need to help her because if TJW is her favorite, you know, she needs to be helped out.
Dumb Guy Live is the only WrestlePurist pod that's never late. It's true. It's true.
It's
and
true.
If you'll notice something about our demographic, I'm trying to think about it.
Oh man,
just kidding, everybody. But yeah, no, we're really glad to be back. We love wrestling. We're gonna be back. Here's the deal. Full disclosure: we will not be back every single Sunday from now on. Just too busy. Literally all of us have school going on in addition to our other commitments and everything like that. So it's not going to be every weekend. We're going to try to do it most weekends though. And obviously if there's something really big going on, we're going to make it a priority, whether that means going on late on Sunday, whether that means finding a different day, we're going to make it a priority to.
Yeah, like there's a chance that like on a Tuesday, like neither of us have class and like we could just say, hey, let's do DGL tonight. Like it's legitimately like we're not a weekly show anymore. We're a sporadic show. So we're going to be around, but we're not on a set schedule anymore.
That's right. That's right. Generally speaking, though, Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be our time to do the show here. We got a $5 super chat here from Anwar. Much love to y'all. We missed you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I love it. I love it. I love the dumb guys. But yeah, this is yeah. All right, let's get started with the show, y'all. Let's do it. I want to start with a big time match that happened just this morning, last night, if you will. Two of the top stars from two of the most important companies in Japan went head to head in the main event of Korakuen Hall. We saw a match like this early in the year from Pro Wrestling Noah when Katsuhiko Nakajima and Kento Miyahara went one-on-one, and what a lot of people have as their match of the year, or at least a top 5 contender. And we got another fantastic example of that today in Naomichi Marufuji's 25th anniversary show. His anniversary match was a singles match against New Japan's Will Ospreay, which the current IWGP US Heavyweight Champion. And
it's the UK Heavyweight Championship, Parker.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Good point. Good point. But I don't know about you guys. This match was so awesome. Like, it was just so great. Crowd was out of their minds for it. Noah, for all their, they've struggled this year without a doubt, but they got Korakuen locked down. They seem to do a pretty good job with these Korakuen shows for the most part, even if the big shows, a lot of the Jake Lee matches haven't quite hit. And I thought the end one was pretty bad overall. But this match was just great. I mean, the chops, these are two of the best chop guys ever, as Murph leaves. But Jamie, I know you're a big fan of Ospreay, and I'm gonna bring Murph back here. But Jamie, I love this one. I thought it was seriously like only a notch below the Nakajima Miyahara match from earlier in the year. What'd you think of this one?
Oh, it was terrific. Just like big time matchup. I mean, there was no like real crazy story going into it. You know, they're not like career rivals or anything. Where there's like, the Nakajima and Kento match had a bit more history to it. It's more just a case of, Marufuji's a legend of his era. Ospreay's been inspired by his, as many wrestlers are. Marufuji, one of the most like kind of influential wrestlers of his time, and now they're facing off, and it was it was special, super hard hitting. Marufuji is one of those wrestlers who's like obviously physically, because just he's getting on in years. He's not physically what he was in his heyday, but in the right environment, the vibes are still there. So when you put him up against Ospreay, who is, I think in all three of our opinions, like the best wrestler in the world right now, always brings it, no matter the environment, opponent, whatever. You get something special, and that's what we got here. Just like pulling out sequences that Marufuji hasn't been pulling out in years, just like really getting the best out of him. And like I said, that crowd, special atmosphere, and just one of the best matches of the year.
Great chop battles here. I mean,
the chop
very
battle.
The very first spot in the match was just Marufuji sort of forcing Ospreay up against the rope and just laying in a chop. And Ospreay tweeted later, he was like, "They are worse than even they sound." Like,
they're the greatest chops ever.
Yeah. So I mean, he it's really kind of remarkable what he manages to do. He's busting out like the Shiranui to the floor, stuff that he doesn't do ever anymore. This is Marufuji. And Murph, obviously all three of us love Ospreay. Murph, you and I especially have been on the Marufuji's washed bandwagon this year. But man, he turned it back here.
No, he turned it back. The chop back. I've said for years that Marufuji has the best chops in wrestling. If you talk to Kenny Omega, like he says, like the way Marufuji slashes on his chops make them the most like eviscerating chops. Like they're just like different. And like seeing Ospreay like in a chop battle with Marufuji, and Marufuji turned back the clock with some of the moves. No, this match was fan service for guys like me and Parker and Jamie who like this kind of wrestling. So I really, really, really did enjoy this. So this was I actually like this a little more than the Nakajima Miyahara match. I like this a little more, but this match was amazing, like unbelievable.
Let's look at a super chat here real quick. We got 5. It's definitely either pounds or euros. It's pounds. Hey, here's the secret. I know the difference, but at this point, because I've done it, but it's still funny to say the two. From Darren Walker, who's reliable. Welcome back, guys. Nice to see you back. And Murph, need you on the Sunday show with Ibu too.
Well, Darren Walker, I'm open for business. I'm not a big double duty guy, so I'm not gonna do it if I have Dumb Guy Live. But I don't think Ibu wants to smoke, because to peel back the curtain a little bit. If you're in the WrestlePeers group chat, there are many times where I catch Ibu off guard and I get him pretty good. So I don't think Ibu wants to be on a show where he has to debate me, because you see, I have the Love Island villa in his head, just all that. So really, if Ibu wants to invite me, I'll do it. But it's not gonna be pretty, is what I'll say.
It was pretty evident. I watched a little bit of I believe it was WrestlePeers Worldwide, the most recent one of those, and he was talking about like collision and stuff, the perception of collision, and he's using a lot of terms and phrases that came directly from Murph. I was like, oh my god, he's living rent free. And if he was
It's too easy, man.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
I love it. Thank you for the super chat, Darren. We really appreciate you too. I saw this. There was a comment up here. He really was. I mean, and I love that. I think the comparisons between Ospreay and Marufuji were so apparent here. Obviously, you know, all the way down to some of the offense that Ospreay uses. Ospreay is like the only other wrestler besides Marufuji who's been able to make the hook kick work. A lot of people have tried, and it usually looks really bad, or they like shoot kick people. But Ospreay's been able to make it work. So huge influence there, big influence with the chops and everything. And, you know, Ospreay, when he started out, he was a big high flyer. And Marufuji, when he started out, he would do a little bit of flying too. But as they grew and developed, they turned into these hard-hitting, physical wrestlers as they, you know, went up against the titans of their generations. And yeah, it's a very good story here. It's a story within a story. Like there's no, you know, explicit storytelling here that's like a big reason why Ospreay and Marufuji want to fight. But sometimes all you need is knowledge of that history between these two individuals' careers, and it leads to a really fun dynamic. So I really enjoyed this match, and I think it's one of the best Noah matches all year. Will Ospreay is, you can't say enough. Like there's a reason he's in our Hall of Beasts. There's a reason he's, you know, already past the Dave Meltzer 5-star record. He's just unbelievable. He's one of the best in the world. There's really nothing like Will Ospreay. King of the North, good comment here. This was a good shout. He did pitch a Ospreay versus Marufuji versus Eddie Kingston Jr. How good would that be? Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible. It'd be incredible. And then imagine like Eddie versus Will for the U.S. title. I think that would be a great match too. Just exciting stuff.
There are times when I feel like the Eddie All Japan stuff's a bit masturbatory, but like I wish Kawada came out with Eddie like on
that'd be sick.
I wish that happened because like that would have just been awesome. But you know, that match, Eddie Akiyama wrestling in AEW is maybe one of my favorite moments in the history of the company, because Parker knows that's like one of my favorites ever.
Oh yeah,
Akiyama. So like that was like amazing to me, and I've always wished that Akiyama, you know, did another run. And you know, I wish the I'm gonna do a little Murph scoop here. When they did the Bryan Danielson versus the Timothy Thatcher, that was supposed to be Marufuji instead of Thatcher spot. I don't know if that ever got out, but I didn't get that from anyone around here. I got that from someone else. But you know, there was a path for Marufuji to be on the show, and I don't know why it didn't happen. But you know, Marufuji and AEW, I feel like that match would happen in AEW. Either AEW or Noah, but I feel like the best place to be happening is AEW because they all have partnerships with AEW. But man, that match, wow.
The other thing about that is just really quickly, Jamie, is the Jun Akiyama just doesn't do anything anymore. Like he's just in DDT, sort of hanging out, you know. And it's not like he can still go. I actually kind of think he's a little bit washed too, but he's also like
he just
50,
likes to hang with Yusuke Okada. Just him and
Yusuke
Okada.
He's just like Yusuke Okada's like his little bro, and they just go they mess about in DDT. But yeah, Jamie, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, does Kingston have anything set yet for Wrestle Dream? Because that feels like a place where that could possibly happen.
Ospreay's pretty awesome.
He's one of the few. Yeah, Ospreay's one of the few New Japan guys that we know for sure is like available for that show. So,
oh man, that'd be good. I wonder if they'll do an IWGP US title match on that show. They could definitely do that too. But yeah, this was great stuff. I didn't catch any of the rest of the show, but the semi-main event, which was wild, if I recall, there was a preview tag essentially for Wagner and Psycho Clown. And then let's see. So yeah, it was Keno and Psycho Clown. This wasn't the semi-main, it was third from the top. But it was Keno and Psycho Clown against Wagner and Lance Anoa'i. And this match ended in DQ. So I assume Anoa'i did something crazy, but this is that's a really interesting match. I mean, the thing that this didn't even cross my mind for whatever reason, Murph, but like Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner Jr. himself have like a ton of history.
They legitimately had the biggest wrestling match in the history of North
I
America.
know, so that's why I'm like it. But for whatever reason, because Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. just kind of went and did his own thing
Yeah.
in pro wrestling. No, he's not like a classic luchador or anything like that. It just doesn't. He's so different from Dr. Wagner Jr.
Of course,
so,
yeah. He wrestles a completely different style, and you see Conan's so terrible at his job that he would never think, wow, maybe we should bring in El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. and work that angle. That's just like
Conan.
wow.
Conan would have Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. being like Abismo Negro Jr.'s spot of just being like a guy. Yeah, I don't know.
No, he's he's legitimately the worst booker in the world. But no, El Hijo Doc, legitimately that's the match that got me hooked on lucha. Was I remember it was going on at the same time as Floyd and Connor's fight. I remember it was the exact same time, so I had both screens up, and I was like, man, I love wrestling. Like that match just like made me so happy, and that was like one of my first exposures to lucha libre, like outside of like what you'd see in New Japan or in WWE or ROH. So man, that match is just something. But like,
really looking forward. Yeah,
it's gonna be exciting. Psycho Clown working in Noah is really cool. And there were like some Noah fans who were like, we don't want to see this. I'm like, if you don't want to see this, like, what are you doing? Like, it's fucking Psycho. He's like, it's like if John Cena showed up in ROH. Like come on, like what the hell? It's legitimately the biggest star in the
I'm not interested. No, thank you.
Get the fuck out.
I don't. Yeah. There's like a subset of Noah, fandom online that I'm like, I don't know what you like. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, whatever it is, it's different from me. But yeah.
A few people have
go ahead,
pointed out in the chat, Scarecrow and King of the North. I was going to say, because I managed to catch the Psycho Clown tag. So yeah, it was Wagner who got the DQ. He ripped Psycho Clown's mask off, and then there's a cool visual where he like wears the torn mask over his own as he walks to the back. It looks pretty cool. So it seems like a little bit of a heel turn for Wagner, who's been a bit of a fan favorite. But obviously, Psycho Clown's come in and he's like full of charisma and
how does he still have the belt? It's insane.
I know. Yeah. I had it's crazy.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
It's Noah. Noah will have guys with a belt for like 11 days. Like he's had the belt since like March.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's had it forever. He's even longer than that. He's had it. I think even longer than that. But yeah. I mean, this was the belt that was. It was the horrible Masakatsu Funaki reign, and then it was just kind of bouncing back and forth between Keno and the really old like shooter guys, and it just didn't really have an identity to it. And then Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. was like, no, I'm going to win this thing and hold it for a long time.
Amazing.
It's been great. So we got a big show, one of the biggest Noah shows of the year this upcoming weekend. This is going to be obviously the fallout from the N1 victory, which Go Shiozaki won. I'm going to go over this card really quickly here. Couple undercard tags, nothing crazy there. Could be something. It feels like whoever gets the pin in the 6-man tag on the undercard, that's Fujita, Hideki Suzuki, and Taniguchi against Sugiura, Soya, and Kitamiya. Whoever gets the pin there, it feels like is probably in line for a challenge of some point. Daga and Junta Miyawaki in a singles match. So whoever wins that one is probably next in line for the junior title.
Dog is like the worst wrestler in the world. He's so bad.
No, get out of here. Dog is actually good. I think
Dog
is good. No, Dog is good. Keno and Lance Anoa'i against Katsuhiko Nakajima and Adam Brooks is really weird. But yeah, that's definitely a match. Continue. We got Kaito and Ryohei Oiwa teaming their partnership. They're gonna fight alongside Eita, which is a wacky partnership too, against Naomichi, Marufuji, Yoshinari Ogawa, and this guy sucks, and I can't. You want to talk about somebody who sucks, Merv, who I can't believe is like become a Noah regular, Leona.
Well, we all know why Leona's like a regular. It's like the race car drivers where their rich dad like pays a lot of money.
Like the Dylans.
I don't know NASCAR, but
that's NASCAR.
Latifi.
Hold on. Yeah. Leona cage match. I'm just gonna see if he's like ever had a good match in his life.
He had the good match on Boyadin.
That's right. Good memory.
What's it called? No, Leona's so bad. It's like the most like ridiculous nepotism like thing ever. It's insane.
He's a Noah regular. Like he's in the last 4 months, he's pretty much exclusively wrestled for Noah. Which,
my comment on the match is, what is Eita cooking? Like, what has he been cooking?
Yeah, what's he doing? Get out
It's
of
so
there.
weird. It's so weird, man.
I don't know. All right. Well, that'll be that's a match. Kaito Kiyomiya in a match with a young lion and Leona and Eita. GHC tag team titles: Saxon Huxley and Timothy Thatcher defending against Jack Morris and Anthony Green, the good-looking guys. It would not surprise me to see a title change there. They really like good-looking guys and Jack Morris. And Saxon Huxley was pretty bad in my opinion at the N1, so I'd be fine with a title change there. GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. This match should be excellent. It's Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf against Ninja Mac and Alejandro.
Whoa, that's a good match.
Yep, that's a fun one. They've had awesome interactions already in this tour, so really looking forward to that one. But this match is all about, or the show is all about the semi-main and the main. Semi-main, like we talked about earlier, Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. defends the national title against Psycho Clown, Mexico's top star, probably number 2 star at this point after Mystico. But huge deal. I mean, this is a huge match.
For this?
What?
Because this is a big match. What building is this?
It's like Nagano, or it's like not even anything. Messi, maybe. It's Nagoya. Yeah. It's Nagoya. It's Aichi Nagoya International Conference Center.
Because this is a big fucking show. Like, Jesus.
And I don't know. Yeah. So I was stupid. I called it the junior, the semi-main. It's not the semi-main, believe it or not. Although, what do you guys think the result is? Because Psycho Clown's like super protected generally, except for GCW, I guess.
He lost to fucking Effie. Like, what do we do?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he just doesn't care outside of Mexico. But I mean, if you're going to go through the effort of bringing Psycho Clown over, maybe they're really building up Wagner, and they want to make
wins.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. Maybe they're just like, he's just going to keep beating big time guys. Then maybe they see, because we've talked for a long time about Noah just really struggling to bring in new faces into the main event scene. They have one with Jake Lee this year, although he hasn't really set the world on fire. And maybe Wagner's that guy. Maybe Wagner's the one who they're like, this guy can be one of our top champions for a long time. We'll see. I'm going to say Wagner retains. What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm feeling Wagner. I'm just not sure whether Psycho Clown's going to stick around for a long enough rate. I mean, and obviously Noah do occasionally, well, not occasionally, more often than not, have pretty short reigns. But obviously Wagner's broke the trend quite considerably. But yeah, I think they see a lot in Wagner, evident by. I think someone pointed out he's had this since like November of last year. This title, so it's been a crazy long reign. So I think he's going to retain here, but I do think it's interesting that he's leaning more heel. So whether he's going to stick with that long term will be interesting to see.
The actual semi-main event is it's Hayata defending the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship against Seiki Yoshioka.
Bro,
who's good. He's really good. I mean,
they've ran that match 57 times in the last couple of years. I'm convinced. Like,
Yoshioka's good. He should win the title. I don't think he will, but I think he should. So I really don't have much to say. Yeah, he won it at Budokan, if you remember. He beat I think Harada on that show. Yeah. So he's been champ, but he's like since that I think he had 0 defenses in that reign. I think he lost it to Katoge right away, and since then he's been like a jobber in the division. I know he was injured for a while too. So that'd be interesting, but I'll say Hayata retains. I don't really care. Then in the main event, this is a big time match. This is one of the bigger Noah matches all year. Jake Lee defends against the N1 victory winner, Go Shiozaki, the backbone of pro wrestling Noah against the outsider. I think this match is going to be great. Go Shiozaki in a big match. He's about as reliable as they come. What do you guys think?
Go's going to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been kind of predicting it since he came back from injury. It was unsurprising to see him win that M1, and I think it'll be a great match. I've enjoyed Jake Lee's big time title matches mostly. I know that's not the case for everyone, but I think he's done a decent job. So you put him in there with someone like Go, who's always going to deliver, like you said. I think it'll be a good time.
I mean, and Jake Lee has had, he's not like a work rate guy, right? He's had great matches though with people like Kento Miyahara and Suwama and the big time ace level guys in their companies. And that's Go Shiozaki. I mean, Jake Lee had a great match with Kaito earlier in the year, and even people like Marufuji and Sugiura. So yeah, I think this match should be great. It actually, I think, has low key potential to be like really, really great. Like sort of everybody starts talking about it. And yeah, ever since day one of the N1 victory, everything's been going to plan for the world title scene in Noah. I predicted Go Shiozaki over Keno in the finals. That's what happened. And then I think Go Shiozaki is going to win this title on Sunday. So, hey Murph, you want to mute while you're driving? What else we got here? So yeah, that's gonna do it for Noah. That's in Nagoya this Sunday. I'm really looking forward to this show. I like big Noah shows. They're usually also Noah just has great production values too. They're just kind of a treat to watch. So I really enjoy that aspect of things as well. Still waiting for them to really lock in and find their footing after a really bizarre summer with a bad N1 and Kaito not doing well in the G1 and just Jake Lee being champion. But I wrestling is better when Pro Wrestling Noah is good, and I hope
that's a great statement. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So let's move on here. Let's talk about an even bigger show. Well, probably an even bigger show that's happening this weekend. We have a New Japan big show coming up on Sunday as well. So I think these shows are actually going on head to head, which is kind of rare that Noah and New Japan do that. But regardless, we have from Kobe World Hall in Kobe, Japan, Destruction in Kobe for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Main event of the show is going to be Will Ospreay versus Yota Tsuji for that IWGP US title.
Bang.
Yeah. I am excited for this one. Jamie, how you feeling?
Oh, fire though. I mean, we've already given all the superlatives in the world to Will Ospreay, but I think everyone here is a huge fan of Yota Tsuji as well since his debut. We think back to the initial time we saw him return against Sanada, and he's just like, I think it was you who said it, Parker. He's got like a creator wrestler moveset, and I think someone like him who's just so unique in his style, throwing him against Ospreay, who is the best wrestler in the world right now, it's gonna make something special. And I think the ceiling for this match is like really something incredible.
I mean, it would be, Ospreay is so good that it would be a disappointment if this isn't the best match of Tsuji's young career. Oh, yeah. Like that's the stakes here. I don't think he's going to win the title. I don't think he's got much of a shot there with Ospreay. We're heading into Wrestle Kingdom season, but just more opportunities for Tsuji to build himself up. Murph, what do you think?
Well, this match is going to be pretty amazing. I mean, it's Ospreay. It's an Ospreay singles match. First off, like count how many bad Ospreay singles matches there are. Hell, count how many good Ospreay singles matches there are. They're all great. So this match is going to be great. Tsuji's really been amazing. I think this match is going to be like 4.5, like that's the floor. Like I think this is going to be amazing, and it's in a great building. It's going to have a great crowd. So like this match is going to be amazing.
Tsuji has just been so thrilling since coming back. He's not like all the way put together as a product yet, but he's just the type of wrestler where there's a lot of wrestlers who are good, right? Especially in Japan, but there's really not that many wrestlers that truly stand out when they come back from excursion or when they get that first big push. Tsuji's one of them. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Real quick, couple super chats here. We got Ibu with a couple super chats here in the chat. $4.99. This was back when we were talking about Ospreay versus Marufuji, so I think this is a good time to bring this one up. So when Ospreay's on, you stop what you're doing and you watch him work if you can. I was in the middle of mid-lision and the Noah match started, and I ran to Wrestle Universe.
Your mid-lision agenda is terrible. I mean, bro, we get it. Punk's not here anymore, but Collision's great now. Collision's awesome.
I liked Collision. Here's the thing. I liked Collision before Punk, like while Punk was there, and I also like it after. I just kind of like AEW.
The fact that Collision was a great show, even though it was in one of the worst places in the United States, means that it was an amazing show because they were able to overcome the fact that they were in a sexual predator HQ. So it's good.
Where
that
was
they have
it?
the clip. It was in Happy Valley. It was in State College, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Jeez. Okay. Well, how'd Pitt do this weekend, Murph?
I don't want to talk about it. The Hicks beat us.
The
It hurt.
Hicks. Pittsburgh calling other people Hicks.
Yeah,
pretty
Pittsburgh's calling
funny.
other people Hicks. Have you ever been to West Virginia?
No, and I never will.
Count yourself very lucky.
Little postscript to that super chat, $1.99 from Mibu. He's like exactly like you just said, Murph.
Mm-hmm.
He's like incapable of being just pretty good, right? So I think that's absolutely right. This match should be fantastic. Oh yeah, good point, Adam. The next collision has a great card to it. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, let's see what else is on this show. Couple big singles matches, couple United Empire. So this show is all United Empire versus LIJ in the main spots. In the semi-main, it's going to be Tetsuya Naito defending the G1 briefcase, although he says he's not. He says he's just like it's just a singles match, but we know what this match is against Jeff Cobb. Obviously, zero chance that Cobb wins this match, but hopefully it's just more good from Naito, who really turned it on the last couple matches in the G1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be really good. Yeah, I don't think anyone's expecting Cobb to pick up a win. This was like pretty typical post G1 stuff, but it should be super solid. It'd be funny if like Naito like didn't try, got beat, and was like, oh, I'm not defending anyway, But yeah, it should be good stuff.
The only scenario where Cobb wins this match is if it's like a B Priestley winning the red belt style. Like he has to get knocked out or like basically like tear his ACL. Like Naito's gonna win this match. It's like a guarantee. Like
yeah, for sure. The okay. Then third from the top. This one's kind of interesting too, because I think both of these guys have had relatively quiet years, at least in New Japan, maybe not elsewhere. Shingo Takagi versus Great Okan is a singles match between two guys who really didn't do a whole lot in the G1. They both had finished with disappointing records, but and Shingo spent a lot of the year outside of New Japan doing other stuff and other promotions. Okan's practically done nothing all year, notable. So I think this is a fun one too. I mean, anytime it's a Shingo singles match, you got to watch it. And I'm not a big Okan fan, but if anybody can get a great one out of him, it's Shingo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. Like you say, they've not with both guys not really having too much to do this year, and obviously approaching the end of the year, that means Wrestle Kingdom's coming up. Be interesting to see where they go with both these guys. You'd imagine, at least for Shingo anyway, they'd have something sizable for him to do at Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm not excited for this. It's an Okan singles match, which is like he sucks, so like I don't really care. But like Shingo, it'll probably be fine because Shingo's in it. But Okan's like one of the worst wrestlers in major wrestling. He's so fucking bad.
I'm really not a fan. I really just don't. I don't see the appeal of Okan. I've laughed about how his gimmick makes no sense for a while, but okay. Couple more notable matches on the show. IWGP Tag Titles: Bishamon versus TMDK. Was it this exact matchup that had a really good match earlier in the year, or was it? Yeah,
I think so.
I think it was Aussie Open.
See, that's what I was wondering, if it was TMDK versus Aussie Open that had a great one.
I don't remember. I thought you were talking about Aussie Open versus Bishamon.
Well, so this was a tag title match that happened earlier in the year.
Right.
But the one that they also did Aussie Open. So this is actually Nichols and Hayes' third tag title challenge of the year already, which I didn't realize, I guess. But maybe this time they'll win it. It's like, why not, right? I mean, Goto and Yoshihashi are good, but I don't know. It's just this is where Aussie Open is just so valuable to have, that you just need a team that you can just have as champions and elevate things. And frankly, neither of these teams are that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would probably pull the trigger on this one. I mean, I like Bishamon, but it does feel like in recent times that they've been like the only guys with the belt for like a considerable amount of time. I know Aussie Open had it for a bit, but obviously that reign didn't pan out as exactly how we'd imagined. So yeah, I mean, I go with the TMDK guys. I mean, they both had Mikey in particular had a real fun G1. He was like killing himself in every other match. So I'll reward him with a little tag belt.
I agree with you, Jamie. I think you got to pull the trigger here. And again, you actually took the words out of my mouth. I was saying it's a reward that they had a pretty good G1 for both of them. So I would definitely do the title change here.
Final title match on this one is for the King of Pro Wrestling title. It's Taichi versus Sho, which might be really, really bad.
If this was in my backyard, I'd draw the blinds. This fucking sucks.
And it also is like, Taichi's probably not going to lose the title, right? Like to a junior. So I don't know. This is like, I don't really get it, but yeah.
So I didn't see what happened, right? But I've seen people talk about it. Yoshinobu Kanemaru got injured, right, in one of these Road 2 shows, and I've seen a few people mention. I know Ash mentioned it in the group chat, but I didn't see what actually happened. But some people think that this is a work, and some people think that Kanemaru was
Super J-Cast reported that this was a work, and that whatever the guy Joel from Super J-Cast reported that this was a work, and Kanemaru is actually joining the House of Torture, which sounds like one of the worst things ever, considering Kanemaru's actually had a pretty good year.
Yes.
So that was what was reported.
Right.
This is what I've heard as well. I hope House of Torture disbands. I hate them. They're really bad. They ruin matches and shows for me. They add nothing to my enjoyment. They are complete and utter go away heat. Some of the worst stuff I've ever seen in wrestling. House of Torture. Anybody like the people who are like House of Torture are actually good now? Like what? You got Stockholm syndrome into liking evil. What happened to you? You poor people. Anyway, kind of a fun little tag match. A fun couple little tag matches here. Okada and Ishii taking on Sabre and Bad Dude Tito. Could be pretty enjoyable there. And then on the junior side of things, Hiromu and Bushi against Leo Rush and Yo is another fun little tag match as well. So a couple good little undercard matches here, and the rest of it is just setting up the rest of the tour. Main event of the tour, Destruction Ryogoku, is obviously Sonata defending that heavyweight title against Evil. So yeah, it's gonna be really bad. Gonna be really quite bad. Yes, I've also heard that the Kanemaru thing is a work, and it does seem to be that he is joining House of Torture. All right, y'all. What do you? Should we head to Mexico? You guys want to head over to Mexico?
Senor.
Oh, actually, before we do that, one thing I asked you guys to think about a Wrestle Kingdom match that's a little bit outside the box that you would love to see on the show that fits in with current booking. So obviously, not anything involving Sonata or Naito, not any, nothing like that. Just something a little bit outside the box that you would like to see on this show.
That's easy.
Yes.
The Wrestle Kingdom. Okada and Bryan.
Well, I think we kind of that's why I was a little unsure, because I think we kind of presume that one's happening. So yeah. We'll do a tag match. You know what? I'm gonna say. I think I have a weird one. Swerve Strickland versus Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, okay.
All right. I just have a little hunch that, the Mogul Embassy and TMDK, they could end up having a little bit of beef. So I'll go Swerve Strickland versus Zack Sabre Jr.
I like it. That's a fun one. If what we've heard about Gates of Agony is accurate, could be a way to set that up. I like that one, Murph. That's a good one. That's like Evolve vibes to me. Anytime the Evolve sense goes off in my head, I'm like, that sounds pretty good. I was thinking because they were
an Evolve guy. I always forget you're an Evolve guy. So
I've watched every single Evolve match in history. I have watched all of them. I loved it. It was great. I was just thinking because there was some Workhorseman highlights going around recently. JD Drake and Anthony Henry, and one of my favorite American indie matches of like the last decade is JD Drake. He was James Drake at the time, not to be confused with what's their name? The fucking Dyad.
They're
not
gone
to be confused.
now. They're free. They're free.
Not to be confused with Jagger Reed.
Jagger.
Or is he Jagger or is he Rip?
No, he's Jagger because Zach Gibson's Rip Fowler.
Not to be confused with James Drake. But anyway, So it was funny because I was watching Progress. I watched most Progress shows as well. And so there'd be a James Drake on both shows, which was weird. But anyway, the James Drake versus JD Drake versus Matt Riddle. I think it was JD Drake's first ever Evolve singles match. I'm not kidding you. Like, ratings are kind of arbitrary, but just to give you a sense, like, it's seriously like a 4.5, 4 3/4 match. Like, they beat the shit out of each other in that match. It was on, Riddle's final indie run before he went to WWE, where he was just, he had the great run with Ospreay too, and he had the Chosen Bros stuff with Walter, stuff with Saber. I mean, but this JD Drake match was just so good, and it was really kind of the match that put him on the map. So just thinking about him recently kind of reminded me about that. Okay, let's talk about I'm gonna Jamie. Do you have yours ready to go?
I don't have a specific match, but I really want to see Claudio. Like,
you got to be kidding me. We are so aligned. All right. Well, I'll give you a match then. So when we do this shit, we are so frequently like on the same page. We're just dumb guys talking about wrestling on this show. Here's what I had in mind. I would love because we were talking about the tag division earlier and how it's a little bit stale, right? I would love for Shingo and Tsuji to win the tag titles this fall. I would love for them to win the tag titles. Maybe they win World Tag League and then it's not the actual Wrestle Kingdom match. Maybe Tag League finals are for the title or something like that. You know what I mean? And then I would love for Mock and Claudio to challenge them for the tag titles at Wrestle Kingdom. I think that would be so much fun. I think Murph has to take off for a little bit. I can't tell if he's going to be back or not. But I just think that match of Moxley and Claudio against Tsuji and Shingo would be just incredible combination of work rate and charisma and just all the great stuff that we love in wrestling. I think it would be so much fun. It's just a dream match. I love
great. I've been wanting the Shingo and Tsuji team since Tsuji came into LIJ. I think that works so well. And it'd be just something fresh, like you said before with TMDK. We want them to win just because it's something different. So putting those two together would be good fun. I have a random match. This isn't like a Wrestle Kingdom caliber match. This is just a match that I want to see because it'd be funny. But Will Ospreay is like makes it clear within like every match that he's a massive Assassin's Creed nerd. I need him to wrestle Templario because of that.
That'd be so awesome.
Someone's got to book that. Come on. I mean, I know not everyone likes the meme matches and booking for the stuff like that, but come on. You got to do that match.
No, that'd be so good. Are you kidding me? Templario would get so pissed at everything Ospreay did. He'd be so mad all the time. He'd be such a great heel in it. Oh man, that's a great shout. I love that. Fucking Templario. Hold on, let me change our background here. There we go. Love it. Murph will be back a little bit later, y'all. Okay, so yeah, that's a fun one. I'm completely in agreement though. I am such a huge fan of Claudio. He's really become one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I really liked him when he was in WWE, of course, but to be honest, I think he was because I'm such a huge Sheamus fan. I think he was kind of overshadowed by Sheamus for me because they're just so similar, obviously. And I just think that I just was drawn to Sheamus more and didn't appreciate what Claudio had to provide. Of course, he had great stuff in Chikara, but he didn't quite have the look and the aura that he has now, to where he is, the Swiss cyborg or whatever. So man, getting Claudio in New Japan would be so great. I'd love him in a G1. Just whatever you can do to get him over there. I think, and Blackpool Combat Club, especially with the Shota connection, they just make perfect sense as a New Japan act in 2023 and 2024. So I think involvement from them would be really exciting. And if Danielson's going to be there, might as well bring the whole crew. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. Actually, since Murph took off, let's move to Stardom. All right. So because he doesn't keep as much up on that, I'm gonna sort of let you take over. You talk about what you want to talk about. I'll jump in with thoughts when I have them. So go for it.
Yeah, so last Sunday we had the Dream Tag Festival for Stardom. Obviously, this was like a emailed, like voted in thing. I don't know how how much that actually was the case because some of the teams were like the ones you would have expected them to throw together anyway. Like we had Azumi and Starlight Kid in there and stuff like that. But yeah, it was basically just like a bunch of random tag teams thrown together. A six match card, pretty short card, but it was all the tag team matches. We started with a bit of a Cosmic Angels throwback. We had Mina, Shirakawa, and Tam Nakano teaming together for the first time in a little while against the current tag team champions, Natsupoi and Soriano, who were like the only team in the. I don't know whether they like got voted heavily, but like they are the actual tag team champions, so they were like thrown together team. But that was fun vibes, you know. There was a bit of miscommunications as there were in like most of the matches on the show, as you'd expect with you know, not the regular tag team partners. But it was good stuff. Tam got the win over Natsupoi. I don't know whether they're going to do an actual tag team title match at some point, but Tam invited Mina to come back to Cosmic Angels. I don't know whether that could happen at some point. You know,
that might happen.
Getting out there now that Mariah May could be gone. We had the tag league lineup announced. I don't know whether you saw this, but Mariah May is not in the tag league. Right. So if she's heading to AEW, you'd imagine that's going to happen pretty soon after the 5-star concludes. We had Mariah May and Hanan against Momo Kogo, Momo Watanabe. Nothing to like write home about here, but it was pretty fun vibes. Mariah and Hanan came out in like each other's gear.
And this was just fun. It was just you know, this is here to just, it's kind of TJPW-ish. It was just here to be entertaining and less of like a big time match, right? Yeah.
Momo gets DQ'd with the bat, and it all kind of falls apart. We had Natsuko Tora and Hazuki, bit of a Oedo Tai throwback for Hazuki, team up against Nanae Takahashi and Ruaka. I thought this was pretty fun. I've been enjoying Natsuko Tora a lot as of late. I think she's had a good 5-star run. I think she's also pretty far ahead in the 5-star record. I don't have the. We'll get into the standings a little bit later, but I think she's been doing pretty well in there. So that was good stuff. They did a double missed spot, which was quite cool.
Yeah, that was the big. It was pretty. And Hazuki came back in the Oedo Tai gear. It was a good throwback. I think that's what most people think of when they think of. Well, I guess I don't know, because the fan base has expanded so much. But at least even now, when I think of Hazuki, I still think of Oedo Tai era.
Yeah, we had what was probably the match of the night, in my opinion, the Julia and Suzuki tag, which I think was one a lot of people were looking for, and then teaming up against another team that everyone was pretty excited for, Utami Hayashishita and Maika. This is just like super physical, exactly what you would have wanted and expected out of this one. Two teams that I would like to see more of. I think the Julia and Suzu one, we definitely will, because Suzu looks like she could be on her way to joining Donna Del Mondo, especially with the post-match, which we'll get into. But Utami and Maika, obviously, kind of like career rivals since Maika first debuted even in JTO. And just aesthetically and the way they wrestled, they just fit together super well. And the closing stretch of this with Julia and Maika was like some of the best stuff in Stardom all year. I thought, I believe they wrestled in the 5-star. It may be even the day before this.
Exactly. They had just had their 5-star match, which was great in and of itself, maybe even better than this tag match. So continuing that just made sense. I loved the Maika and Utami team. I think they're so great. I was really banking on, the big Oedo Tai and Queen's Quest feud. I really thought that Utami was going to leave, and they were going to be in a stable with Maika and maybe Suzu and some, Mei Sarah, some other people, but that didn't end up happening. But they're obviously so young that they can still do that down the line.
Yeah, but after the match, that went to a time limit draw, I believe. Risa Sera and Hiragi Kurumi come out and kind of beat down Suzu and Julia. Obviously, when Prominence first came into Stardom with Suzu still as a member, the kind of point was, we're pissed at Julia for leaving Ice Ribbon, and now Suzu's like teaming with Julia, so obviously you can understand the frustrations there. But outruns Maika to make the save, and but before that, Risa Sera and Hiragi Kurumi announced that they're going to be part of the tag league, so that'd be good stuff. I think we do have the full lineup. I don't have it at hand, but we can get that up in a sec. I think I also missed a match. earlier in
you skip. Well, yeah, it was not important though.
it wasn't a big thing,
my
no.
Sakurai and Mirai against Rina and Hina. So
Yeah,
that was all.
Yeah,
I can get the goddess line or the tag team lineup open.
Yeah, the main event of the show was the much anticipated team up of Azumi and Starlight Kid. That was the one that I think a lot of people would have voted for in that email thing. And they teamed up against Mayu Iwatani and Saki Kashima, another a former pairing back when Saki Kashima was a babyface in Stars. They didn't quite have the chemistry of old. Obviously, it's been a long time. Whereas Azumi and Starlight Kid, they seem to get on quite well, despite their their history there and the amount of big time matchups they've had. Good high speed stuff, a notch below the previous match, which I think was quite considerably match of the night, but a good way to close out the show and just like a fun vibes matchup. It was good stuff.
Yeah, I thought this match was like way better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not the biggest Saki fan. I know you really like her, and I'm also, I would say, probably slightly lower on both Starlight Kid and Azumi than a lot of people are. But this really impressed me. I mean, just the athleticism, the work, the creativity, and putting care into the interactions between everybody. Felt a little bit ice ribbon-ish to me, which is always good sign for me. And we all kind of knew that like what the result was going to be, so I think that kept a little bit of the intrigue out, but it does set up more stuff. And yeah, I just loved Mayu turning on the aggressiveness and fed up with Saki and being like, no, like we gotta win this thing. And I just thought it made for a really fun dynamic. So yeah, I thought this was a good show. I don't know. I'm glad that the last two matches really turned it up, because I was like, up until then, I was like, it's just it's kind of whatever for a pay-per-view. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, good stuff. It was like a bit of a vibe show, which obviously the typical Stardom pay-per-views you kind of expect, like big match after big match, and obviously that wasn't the case until right towards the end. But it was a bit different and a bit of fun. It was kind of like I know a lot of Stardom fans who've been there for since way back in the early years have always been asking for kind of like the fun stuff to come back, the type of things like the battle royals and the mask fiestas. So it had similar vibes to that, the kind of mix up of the tag teams and stuff. So it was a good time.
So I have the Goddess lineup up here. It'll start on October 15th, so about a month from now. In blue block, we have Micah and Megan Bain. That's a fun one. Maya Iwatani and Hanan, Saya Ida and Hanako, Mirai and Mai Sakurai. They're continuing their partnership. Tam Nakano and Natsupoi Meltier. Let's see, which is weird, right?
Because, yeah. What happens if they win?
If they win, do they Freebird rule it and they're all champions? I don't know. But Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, Momo Watanabe and Ruaka, and Ami Sourei and Yuna Mizumori for the blue block. Red block is Julia and Tekla, FWC, Hazuki and Koguma, Shuri and Saki Kashima. That's kind of goofy. Utami Hashishida and Lady C. Prominence are back, obviously. Risa Sera and Hiragi Kurumi. Mina Shirakawa and Waka Tsukiyama. Natsuko Tora and Starlight Kid. And then Suzu Suzuki and Mei Sarah. I got to be honest, I don't have like a clear indication of who I think is going to win this thing. Like, a lot of the top stars are paired with undercard wrestlers. And so, yeah, I don't know. I could see, gosh, who am I looking at here? I could see Tora and Starlight Kid go pretty far in this one. I could also just see Micah and Megan Bain go really far as well.
Yeah, it's a weird one with Tora and Starlight Kid teaming together. I believe last year, I remember BMI 2000, they called themselves, don't they? Tora and Ruaka having a pretty decent run. I wouldn't have been too surprised to have seen those two do quite well in this year's tag league, but they've gone for different pairings for both. Yeah, I think the Megan Bain Micah one could be interesting. I believe they have a trios challenge also coming up soon. I think they're pairing with Suzu to take on the DDM team, Julia, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla. So looks like those two are going to be working together a fair bit. But yeah, I don't have much of a read on this one.
Looking forward to it. Always love round robin stuff. Still not done, by the way, with the 5-star GP, although we're getting close. I had the freaking standings are, and it's a little bit misleading because, for example, Tora only has 1 match left to wrestle, whereas there are some wrestlers who still have like 3 to wrestle. But in the red block, Tora leads far and away with 12. Natsupoi and Shuri both have Natsupoi, Shuri, and Tam all have 9. Hazuki and Suzu 8. Mayu 7, and then Saray, Starlight Kid are pretty far behind with 4 each. So, and then in Blue Stars, it's there's 5 wrestlers within 1 point. Julia's got 9. Utami, Saori, Momo, and Mirai all have 8. Micah 7, Azumi 6, Mina 6, Mariah May 6, and then Hanan with 2. So obviously, I mean, we knew this from the start, Jamie, but it's all coming down to that final night. It's all coming down to that final night with that crazy lineup of matches, and that'll be in 2 weeks.
Do you have has your prediction changed any much, or are you still kind of leaning towards Utami to pick up the win?
Yeah, well, so who's Utami got besides so she's got Hanan, so she'll win that, obviously. And then she's got Mirai, which I guess is I'm still going Utami. I just don't I don't know. It's hard to tell when it's not like the G1 where everybody always has the same amount of matches wrestled, so it kind of gives you a good picture. I'm going to stick with Utami over Shuri. It's still I mean, even though Tora's way ahead, it just doesn't feel likely to me that Tora is going to make it to the finals. She's got Hazuki left. You can obviously see Hazuki winning that one. And then, some of the people behind her, like Shuri has Starlight Kid, who she can easily beat, obviously. And Tam left, who's the world champion. But if you're going to have somebody beat your world champion, it's maybe Shuri. I don't know. What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah. So I would say Utami's probably still kind of the big favorites, but so I also don't think Tora's going to win. Tora, I believe, has a red belt match lined up with Tam, regardless of the 5-star. So so that's coming up pretty soon. So that to me says she's not going to win. Is Mina still in contention for her block? Is she still?
See, that's why it's weird. It feels like that's some of the story that they're leaning. She would have to. So yes. If she goes 3-0, win her last 3, she'll finish with 12, which is easy enough to win. But then Julia would have to go 0-2 against Utami and Azumi. It doesn't feel like Julia's losing to Azumi. Maybe it's possible, but yeah, I don't know. It's just it feels like Mina's been like the main character of Stardom during these last couple months, and yet there's 6 wrestlers ahead of her and 2 more that are tied with her right now. It just the math is just tough for her, but I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, I think with these tournaments, I always try and think like as much as the results, I try and think about like what the actual final will be. So I think if Mina's still in contention, Natsupoi's been having a really great tournament, and it wouldn't shock me if she managed to just clinch it at the end, and then they get they set up that final. Obviously, we had that match earlier in the year for the white belt, and it was really great. So and that'll be an interesting one to see whether they would go with the Mina and Tam rematch for the red belt this time, or whether it would be the Meltier teammates taking on each other. So I'm looking at that one, but I do definitely think Utami is still a big time favorite as it stands.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. And even on that, I think even when I know what the points are going to be like leading into the final day, I feel like I still won't know. You know what I mean? There's just so much going on. Just a reminder for everybody, this is the card for that show. It's Mariah May versus Hanan, Hazuki versus Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe versus Azumi, so former tag partners. Hazuki versus Tora, former tag partners. Mariah May versus Hanan. They teamed up at the tag festival as well. Shuri versus Ami Saray, stablemates. Mariah versus Micah. I mean, they're sort of in the same generation, same style there. Mina Shirakawa versus Saoriano, huge like Cosmic Angels, Club Venus implications there, obviously. Tam Nakano versus Natsupoi. I mean, they're tag team partners. They're soulmates, right? Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid. One Mayu was Starlight Kid's mentor early in her career, and then she left, obviously. And then Julia versus Utami, which is probably the #1 most protected matchup in the company's like recent history. And it add all that history on the fact that just about everybody I mentioned is also like a fantastic in-ring worker. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to these next couple weeks. That show is just going to be crazy. Okay, I think we're good. Are we good on Stardom? Anything else you want to talk about with Stardom?
I think so. I can't remember for the life of me when
really quickly, a couple big matches this Wednesday for Stardom. Tam versus Shuri is huge, obviously. Utami versus Mariah on the show as well. Julia versus Azumi, and Maika versus Mariah May. So I mean, even though just a midweek Stardom 5-star show, I mean, this is big time matchups. Then next weekend, Mina versus Maika, and Hazuki versus Suzu. Utami versus Hanan, and Shuri versus Starlight Kid on days 21 and 22, respectively. Okay, let's go to Mexico, shall we? Let's head on down to Arena Mexico and talk about what happened there. So last night we had the CMLL 90th anniversary show from Arena Mexico, and I thought this was a really good show. I thought this was very enjoyable all around. The main event here was Dragon Rojo Jr. losing his mask to Templario. We mentioned Templario earlier with with the potential Ospreay match there, but yes, in the main event of anniversary show, as I expected, Templario won Dragon Rojo Jr.'s mask. I wonder, do I have his name now? Nope, they didn't. I don't know if they announced his name. They usually do the Dragon Rojo Jr.
I have seen someone mention his name, so yeah, I can't for life me remember.
But let's talk about this main event. What'd you feel about it?
I thought it was pretty solid. I don't think it was like, I mean, I think we were probably both in agreement on what the match of the night was, probably the co-main event. With some of the big time CMLL matches we've talked about before, how there's always a few, maybe one or two throughout the month to kind of grab the attention of everyone, and everyone's like, I need to watch more CMLL, or they just see kind of the one big match. I don't think this was kind of up there with those, the kind of the Mascara Dorada versus Rockies and stuff like that will get everyone talking. I thought it was a solid match. I enjoyed the work and all that. It was pretty solid, and I understand absolutely why it main evented. Obviously in Mexico, mask versus mask is always going to be like the most important thing on the show above any title or anything like that. Especially when it's a guy like Dragon Rojo Jr., who's been wrestling for like 22 years. It's a big change, and everyone kind of knew he was going to be him who lost the match. But yeah, I thought it was well worked, but definitely an underwhelming main event. So it was like a 90th anniversary show. For like the oldest wrestling company going today. So yeah, good, but slightly underwhelming. But I mean, they put them in a big spot. Like, I don't think I really like Templario. I don't think like they're the absolute two best workers in the company or anything. So it was a tough position for them, but I thought they did all right.
So I was pretty underwhelmed by this, to be honest. And it's weird to say I was underwhelmed because I really didn't expect it to be that great, because I have never ever seen Dragon Rojo Jr. in like a great singles match, and I've watched most of his career in CMLL. So I don't know. It was a little odd. I really, for the longest time, wanted Soberano to be a part of this in some way. He had a huge series with Templario last year, and then Dragon Rojo sort of inserted himself into the feud, and it was like, oh, are we going to get like a three-way where it's elimination falls? Maybe the final person who takes a fall is the one who loses the mask, and that would be something that CMLL would do here. They didn't. They just stuck with the singles match, mask versus match. Mask, of course, anytime, like you say, a pushed guy like Dragon Rojo Jr. Loses his mask, it's a big deal. And the emotion there, especially after the match, was great. It was befitting of the CMLL anniversary show, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. I love the pageantry, love it's anniversary, right? That's how it goes. But Dragon Rojo Jr. just was not the guy for me. It should have been somebody else here. It should have been, well, the tough thing is, if it was going to be Dragon Rojo, or if it was going to be Templario in here, he should never lose his mask, because he's like, his mask and his identity and his look are so essential to him as a wrestler. Like that's what makes him stand out, because he's not the most charismatic guy. He's good and he's intense as a wrestler, but he's not, he's not as charismatic as Soberano or as Atlantis Jr. or Volador or Mystico or any of the, or Teton, right? So if you're gonna, but you don't want to take Soberano's mask either, right? So because Soberano is the type of guy who you wait and you wait and you wait to take his mask until he starts to lose it a little bit, and then it's like, okay, let's make a lot of money off of this guy's mask. So I get why they didn't end up going that route. Maybe this was a reward for Templario for, keeping it up and being like, hey, he was so important to them during the pandemic. He was the only guy consistently wrestling singles matches for them in the empty arena Mexico City days. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'm happy that the match went off without a hitch. It wasn't bad or anything. It was a very good match, in fact. But less than 15 minutes in the main event of Aniversario for the mask. Like, usually mask matches are epics, and this was not an epic at all. It was they started throwing bombs right away, and it was bombs until the end, which is fine. But it's just not what I expected out of the anniversary main event. But yes, Templario wins the mask of Dragon Rojo Jr. Templario getting a win. I just have to say shout out to him in the main event of anniversary. Taking a mask is so big for his career, because when he came in, I mean, he wasn't pushed right away or anything. He was just kind of a guy on the card. He sort of, would team. He was just kind of like an undercard, like heel kind of guy who would just kind of be in matches with like Flyer and Euphoria and the Guerreros and things like that, Terrible, right? And so for him to come out a couple years later and win a mask in the main event of Anniversary was so big. Yep. Pep's got a good point here. Only chance they had to make some money with Dragon Rojo Jr.'s mask, since he was never going to get this spot again. Yeah, for sure, right? Like, what you do is you take, because you don't want to just unmask people for no reason. You take an upper mid-carder who's like probably not going to be in your future plans, and you're like, here, let me pay you a lot of money to take your mask. And that's exactly what they did for Rojo. It's what they did with Stuka last year. However, I think we both want to talk about this semi-main event here, which was incredible. So let's set it up here. The match is Averno and Ultimo Guerrero against Angel de Oro and Volador Jr. The winners of the match. So, and it's like a incredible partners match. So the two teams hate each other and they want to take each other's hair. And so the winning team then gets a singles match opportunity to take the other person's hair. Also kind of rare for Anniversary to do multiple Apuestas matches on the same show. I was really glad they included this. And I kind of mentioned on Twitter that I think Volador kind of took it upon himself to put on the best damn show possible, because I don't think he had faith in Dragon Rojo in the main event there. But regardless, so pretty quickly, Guerrero and Averno get out of there. This was a little bit surprising. I was under the impression that Averno was going to lose his hair, because the crowd adores Ultimo Guerrero, and they not adore. They don't, because he's kind of a heel, but they see him as a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And so anytime you get him to wrestle a big time singles match, he doesn't really do singles matches anymore at Anniversary. And Averno's like, he's a good wrestler, but he's not a guy who is like important, you know what I mean? So taking his hair is not that big of a deal. But they did the more inspired choice. They had the Volador and Angel de Oro team win. And then it gets crazy, because Volador, I never caught the actual injury, but he tore a rotator cuff or dislocated a shoulder or something within like a minute of the singles match starting. Like right away. And Jamie, it just completely kicked off from there. Volador wrestles an Anniversary main event level singles match with one arm against Angel de Oro, who's a good wrestler, but he's not like a world beater or anything like that. Like, he's not as good as Templario, for example. And yet the match was incredible. I mean, they were just going back and forth, beating the shit out of each other, dives, power bombs, all this type of stuff. It was so awesome. And then Volador gets the win. Angel de Oro, big deal. I mean, his look is all about having the long hair, especially with his brother and tag team partner Nebula Roja, and he lost the hair here. Inspired choice. This to me was far and away the best thing on the show.
Yeah, this was this was terrific. Like super unfortunate. Like literally, like the first minute or two of the match, he loses that arm. He can't use that arm throughout the whole match. And most of the wrestlers in that scenario, they would kind of work around that. They would kind of maybe rush around to the finish, maybe not go as long as initially planned, or change a few spots in there. I don't think that was the case in this at all. They just they did exactly what was planned. They went full throttle with it. Which was incredible, because you couldn't have blamed Volador if he kind of changed a few of the plans of the match. No, he went for it, and he's incredible. Like you said, crazy dives. He did like a springboard Canadian at one point with one arm, which is ridiculous to think about. Oh man, he's just so good. And
I didn't. You continue. I was just going to point out another spot, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was just kind of finish up, like, just a terrific match in like ridiculous circumstances given what happened so early on, and the actual like real life like physical, you can see the pain on Volador's face. He's like he ain't selling. He's hurt, but he's fighting through it, and it took the match to another level. It was incredible.
So I didn't realize until towards the end that it was like legit. I was like, oh my god, he's actually not doing anything with it. Like, I just thought he was just selling some stuff or whatever, but he does a tope con hiro over the top rope with his arm like up like this, protected. And that when people do suicide dives over the top, they have their hands out because they don't want to land on their head. The amount of trust he put in to Angel de Oro to catch him, and the dive was just perfect. He lands perfectly. His head is 6 inches from the ground. He's hanging upside down, but he's never in danger of cracking his head or anything. Angel does a perfect catch. It was just one of the best spots of the year. I was just like, wow. I mean, these two are so great, and especially Volador. So really happy for Volador. He's just been the guy who every time they ask him to do anything, he's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, and it's going to be great. He's been obviously he's one of the big reasons why Rocky has been such a big deal in this promotion all year. And I really hope they continue to reward him and give him more opportunities, because he's just the best. I think he's the second best of his generation behind Mystico. And I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say that. So yeah, this was awesome. A couple other minor stuff on the show. There's an all-star 6-man tag. Atlantis Junior Mascara Dorada. That's 2.0, but he's cut off the 2.0 because the original is back to Metal League. And Mystico defeated Kevin Knight, Rocky Romero, and TJP, bit of a foreigners team. Rocky attacked Mystico after the match, so this is probably something to look forward to, as a big time Mystico versus Rocky Romero singles match down the line.
Oh yeah, I believe all three Technicos had their mask ripped off by the it's kind of a mishmash New Japan team, just the foreign heels. There's another thing with this one, and it kind of goes for the match that came before as well, the Samurai Del Sol tag. I love in these big Arena Mexico shows in particular, when they have like a guy like Rocky, there's a lot of like national pride in the crowd. You know what I mean? They fucking hate these foreign heels. They get behind the it's like a real like it's got like a proper sports vibe to it. Like they're watching their national team play, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's all about like national, like Samurai Del Sol, like Callisto. His parents are from Mexico, so like it's like and right. So it's very fun. I love that the crowd gets into it and everybody leans into it as well. So yeah, this match was, so the preceding match I thought was really good, but it was kind of weird too because of the result. But Soberano Jr. and Titan, they fell against the Lucha House Party. They weren't billed as the Lucha House Party, but Samurai Del Sol and Lince Dorado got the win over there. Wouldn't mind, especially Samurai Del Sol, wouldn't mind seeing him continue to be a CMLL regular going forward. If this leads to like a singles match with Titan or Soberano, where maybe he challenges for one of their singles titles, like I think this would be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I see him stick around. Samurai Del Sol. He's been kind of freelancing around since leaving WWE. He's popped up in a few different places, but yeah, if he gets a little bit of a singles run going there, he gets some good stuff.
There were a couple more undercard matches. We had like a Legends match, Atlantis Blue Panther and Octagon all on the same team, right? Satanico, Fuerza Guerrera, and Virus. Just Legends match, getting people on the card. Esfinge and Rugido, the Copa Independencia final. It was all right. It was okay. This was more like demonstrating that Lucha Libre is not just like flying. It was kind of an exhibition. And then I actually thought this opener was really solid as well for the women's tag titles. Stephanie Vaquer and Lucis won these titles against Haruchita and Yuvia. Pretty solid stuff. I mean, Vaquer is really good. So it feels like it's only a matter of time until she gets more opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've been waiting for a long time. I mean, she always seems super willing. Like she'll do it whenever they ask her to like go and work, in America or Japan. I know she's popped up in Ice Ribbon a few times, I believe.
Yeah.
She's willing to travel around. So it surprised me that no kind of bigger promotions are willing to bring her in. I believe she is popping up on a New Japan show next month. I think she's in a tag. I think a lot of people expected her to work Julia, and I don't think that's what they're doing, which is kind of disappointing because I would have liked to see that for the strong title, but maybe it's something we'll get down the line. But yeah, I thought this was fun stuff from all four involved, and new inaugural champions, I believe, Stephanie Vaquer, and is it? I forget the name because I'm not super tapped in. Was it Zeus's?
Yeah. It's. I think the actual pronunciation is like not not easy for non-Spanish speakers. It'd be like Seujis or something like that. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, she did a good job. She did a good job. I like the CMLL has good women. They just don't book them with any sort of regular consistency or storytelling or anything like that. So that's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, I really enjoyed this show. I thought this was one of the better CMLL shows all year. I'm glad that they went with the inspired booking in the semi-main. Now I'm hoping, okay, this is where we start to reset. Let's get some big time programs going for people like Soberano and Titan and the people who've been really, and Mascara Dorada as well. Atlantis Jr. has had a really quiet year after main eventing Aniversario last year and taking Stuka's mask. Now let's use this time to really start to build something. Let's get some excitement going, because a lot of people have been high on CMLL this year, and I'm a little baffled why, because like the shows are always you will almost never have a bad CMLL show, which is so valuable, right? It's like AEW. You will almost never have like an actively bad AEW show, right? But in my opinion, the very good shows and matches have been far and few between as well. It's very solid, middle of the road, maybe slightly above, elevated by the crowd. But they do have the potential to get there. They've got Soberano, they've got Titan, they've got Mystico, Rocky, all these guys, Volador, who can elevate that. Now let's focus on those guys. Elevate Templario, put him in a main event position at this point. Now that you've given him that opportunity to win a mask in the main event of the Aniversario show, let's continue to elevate him, keep his momentum going. Don't just let him falter and fall by the wayside as you return to the same old guys like the Guerreros and whoever else, right? So with that, I think it's about that time. Jamie, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I think we're good.
I think that's pretty much covered everything. It wasn't the busiest week. A lot of the big things that happened kind of came in the last day. So yeah,
it's that time. Beast of the week. For the first time in a little while. It's always a good time when it's time for the Beast of the Week. Also, people in the comments, let us know. Wow, perfect timing, Murph. Let us know in the comments who your Beasts of the Week are, because I'm curious as well. But Jamie, we always start off with you. Lay it on us. Who is your Beast?
Wait, can we do collective first?
Collective.
I say Marufuji.
How about Marufuji? Yep, Marufuji. Perfect. Let's do it. Locked in. All right.
Yeah.
Jamie-san.
My Beast of the Week is going to be from Pro Wrestling Noah, another guy from Pro Wrestling Noah. My beast of the week is El Hijo, the Dr. Wagner Jr. Not even mainly for the match, just kind of the post-match stuff he did with Psycho Clown. He's been like a real fan favorite. I talked about it earlier. A real fan favorite throughout his very long reign with that national championship. But in this one with Psycho Clown, he just kind of oozes charisma. He's had enough, man. He ripped the mask off, and that visual of him with part of Psycho Clown's mask over his own. It's just a really great visual. I'm very, very, very intrigued to see where they're going with that one and whether he's going to go heel long term, because I think he's a guy that they see a lot in. So yeah, he's just a beast wrestler in general. So Hijo the Dr. Wagner Jr. is my beast of the week.
Who am I? Because I got to be honest, y'all. Didn't think of one ahead of time. Like you said, Jamie, it was kind of a quiet week. I may throw it back a full week here to Stardom, to that dream tag show, and I'm just trying to decide who I want. You know what? I'm gonna go with it. In the main event, I think by far the best wrestler in that main event was Mayu Iwatani, and I think she was just so great. Carried that match, elevated it to being nearly as good as the match before it, which is saying something, because that match was excellent. And I think it was all Mayu. Actually, you know what? What the hell are we talking about? Did you watch the anniversary show, Murph?
I watched bits and pieces.
All right. What the fuck am I saying? Diego Cunha is so right. It's obviously Volador. Yeah.
I didn't go for him because I thought you were going to go for him.
Yeah, no, you're so right. I just for some reason, I always forget Mexico when it comes to Beast of the Week. But you're so right. Screw what I said about Mayu. She do better a different week. It's obviously Volador. Like you get a horrible injury for your in a hair match at the anniversary show, and you decide, fuck it, I'm gonna wrestle the best match on the show anyway, and you do. That's Volador. Yeah, he's easily the beast of the week. I'm so sorry, fans, for overlooking. I'm so sorry to Mr. Volador himself. You deserved better there, but yes, collective Marufuji, Jamie, whoever you said, me, obviously Wagner, me, Volador, Murph, Burner. Who are you gonna choose?
Do you guys smell that? You smell that?
Ugh.
Do you guys smell that? If you smell what the Rock is cooking, dude, how could you pick anyone fucking else? Dude, he was just in Colorado for the game. He was like, why don't I just show up on SmackDown and just be like the greatest wrestler ever on the mic? Because he is the greatest wrestler ever on the mic. Dude, there was the only one pick, and it's the fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, fuck. Dude.
I don't watch SmackDown.
He was hanging with Dion, doing all that fun shit. Dion was.
Why wouldn't you? You should have just chosen Dion. Dion would have been a great choice.
No, because I said I'd stop doing the sports ones. So like the non-wrestling ones. So no, dude, it's the fucking Rock. I mean, he showed up. He was chilling with Cena. They did that backstage, which gave me goosebumps because that was my first ever wrestling match I ever watched with Rock and Cena. Dude, Rock is my beast of the week. He's the GOAT, and I can't wait for him to finish his story at WrestleMania and not the Code Man. So
it's not happening. He's not doing it.
The Rock is my beast of the week, and he's the greatest talker ever.
All right, everybody. Wagner, Volador, Marufuji, and yes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson are our beast of the week. All right, everyone. We will hopefully be back next week.
Here's another wish. I'd love to see The Rock versus LA Knight at Royal Rumble. So please.
All right, I've muted Murph. That's enough of that.
LA Knight.
Okay. Anyway, cool. Sounds really good, dude.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for us. We really appreciate you all watching. This was a lot of fun. We'll hopefully be here next week. I cannot guarantee that we will.
I will not be here next week because I will be seeing Pessy play live. So
that's
I will not be
pretty
here next
cool.
week.
I'm pretty jealous about that. I wish I was also seeing Pessy play, but I have coaching responsibilities next Sunday. But we'll see. I might be done by then. We'll see. Regardless, we'll be around giving you our thoughts on New Japan Destruction, and whatever the heck else is going, and the Noah show and all that type of stuff coming up. And yeah, we got to get excited for those 5-star finals. That's easily my most anticipated show in wrestling right now, is those 5-star GP finals. So looking forward to that. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. We will talk to you next time. Stay dumb.